Welcome everyone. Today, I was about to say tonight, but it's the AM where I am, amazingly enough. Um, Today we are playing Sunset Kills by Jesse Ross. It's a one-shot monster ass-kicking adventures. My name is Donna, my pronouns are he, him, and I'm going to be running the game. So let's do intros from our players and their characters, left to right in character order. So Sean, I guess you're first.
Hey everyone, I'm Sean, he, him, and I'll be playing Alva today, she, her. She is the destined one to fight off the demons. So we will see how that plays out within the monster hunting family.
Cool. And Adam.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Adam, he, him. I'll be playing Sydney, nerdy, foolhardy Snoop type who's maybe not cut out for this job, but he's the husband, I guess, of the chosen character. So he's finding ways to mix himself up in her business.
I'm Horst, he, him. I'm playing Moira, who is an occultist. I think that she's kind of the matriarch, maybe of the family. You can't see her profile picture; it's very, very intense, and she has a special relationship with Stone.
Hi, and I'm Will, and I'm playing Stone, a reanimated former chosen from a long time ago. Been in the family for generations, just gathering dust until Moira thought that Alva needed a bit more inspiration, a model to follow, and then reanimated a killing machine from the Middle Ages, I suppose. Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
Pronouns: he, him, they, it.
And I guess because the golem passes for human, right? So they're not falling apart,
No. He very much appears human. I don't think it's like rotting flesh and stuff, I think it's like heals back up to the state of what it was when he died, right? Like no marks or blemishes or whatever, which is why I've taken the move vital and very hard to destroy.
Cool. So let's jump straight into the action. I guess this is our pre-credits story snippet. So let's just build a scene up a little bit. Alva, where have you hunted down this this occultist, this witch who has been raising her own golems?
Let's see what could be a cool setting. I'm open to any suggestions either.
I mean, is this sewers or the chasm at the edge of town, which no one goes to for good reason? Or
maybe an old rundown castle.
Okay,
in Florida.
In Florida, so that means the stone. I mean, it happens sometimes in the US, right? Someone buys a castle in Scotland or whatever and moves it stone by stone. And builds it there, right? I mean, it's
May have forgotten we were in Florida, but that's okay. I like it.
This is what we're going with now, Sean. And it's so ridiculous it must be true. I'm sure the fan forums, the television without pity forums are going to go crazy after this episode, right? What was?
Can I suggest it is a castle, but it's not shipped over stone by stone. It's like some trashy 1960s, 70s kind of like the Castle Motel on the outskirts of town that is like long derelict because no one wants to stay in the castle place. The AC is terrible in Florida, right? It died a long time ago, but it has like the appearance of a castle, but it's actually kind of like very tacky 70s sort of rundown motelish sort of. Does that make sense to people? You know what I mean? Like it looks like a castle, but really it's just It's what some 70s entrepreneur was like. Oh, everyone, an Englishman's home is his castle, and so is a Florida. Anyone from Florida, well, their home's going to be a castle too. God damn it!
How does that sound, Sean?
Yeah, I think that's
Yeah.
cool.
Cool. Sydney, do you have any experience in this terrible, rundown, closed motel from before your life with the Franklins? You work here, or you knew the owner, or something like that?
No, I probably passed it on the way to work now and from time to time, but never thought twice about it, and probably maybe even ignored some blatant signs that there's some paranormal activity inside until my wife pointed that out.
Okay, so like now that we're kind of in the middle of a whole world of trouble, like what do you notice from before that you really should have paid more attention to? Like what sign of the apocalypse is like blinking neon above it that you said, I should have seen this one coming?
I'm going to this silly place immediately, but the walls are bleeding maybe on the outside. This doesn't seem normal.
You might have thought this was just shoddy paintmanship, right?
Yeah, but the walls aren't painted this color at all, so it shouldn't make sense.
Okay, perfect. Moira, from your research, like why is this site the best or maybe the worst place for a witch to enact her ritual of raising golems?
Well, obviously it has been chosen very carefully because there are several ley lines that cross at exactly that point.
So the power here is pretty over the top.
It is out of all the, out of the charts. How do you say that?
Yeah,
off the charts.
Off the charts, yeah. Okay, awesome. And lastly, stone. I think, do you maybe feel some connection to the golems that are being animated inside? Do you feel some kind of connection?
I think in times past, occultists rose armies of golems versus each other, and the connection I feel is memories of fighting, my way through them. We're all just tools, just weapons. And I think that's the kind of thing that Stone tells Alpha. In time, you'll understand you're just a weapon too. And they'll use you until you break, and then they'll bring you back.
So is this a sore point where Moira is concerned, right? Or is this just GT?
I mean, I think Stone's ambivalent towards it. It's just the truth, right?
Okay, cool. So, yeah. So I guess we have a really well painted picture of exactly what's going on here, right? This rival witch is raising an army of golems for whatever dark purposes she has.
Can I suggest that her dark purposes should include at some point demons? Given
sorry, I mean that's baked in. Yeah, it's obviously going to be demons.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure now that we have ley lines, there isn't actually a gate of hell or something like that somewhere nearby. That would be obviously, that would be too obvious, right? So let's definitely go for that. So yeah, let's see some ass getting kicked. You kick down the door or whatever the usual entry point is. What kind of trouble do you think you end up in really, really quickly? let's go around again. Alva, how much trouble do you end up in this quickly?
Yeah, I think we just go, we're not the quiet type, as you say, full straight in the doors, kick down. We just see like the place is just filled with the golems. She's had more. We gave her more time here than we should have, and there are more golems here than we would have should have let happen.
So yeah, I think there must be a couple of kind of bodyguard golems on perimeter duty, right, while the witch is doing her grand ritual to raise the army, right? I think you probably end up in a scuffle or two with those. I think this is a good opportunity to get those bones rolling. Yeah, a couple of these come straight at you out of the shadows. Maybe not even giving you time to quip, or to make a grand entrance. Golems, I think, don't care about those kind of human concerns. So they just jump you out of the shadows. What are you going to do?
I imagine Alva is the one who does come in with the quip and the thingy, right? And then just hands just reach out of the darkness straight like Mother. Like, oh crap. Yeah.
So yeah, Sean, in terms of making your move,
Yeah.
it's not your preferred monster type, so you're not going to be lethal.
Yeah.
Not per the move, at least. So are you trying to protect people who are coming in behind you, or are you just trying to kick ass?
Yeah, I think I'm trying to at the first me trying to make my quip and then getting strangled. I am trying to kick ass for the start.
Okay, so that certainly sounds risky. So the possible consequences, right? I mean, let's not say being torn asunder, right? But I think you could get, just trapped here at the entrance and blocked off, and then the witch could succeed in her ritual. So just being tied up with these golems is probably as bad an outcome as you've been briefed about, right? So I think that would be tough, right? But
I think
you
so,
can
yeah.
you can roll something else if you think it's more appropriate.
I'd say it's tough, yeah.
Yeah. So you roll 2d6, add your stat, and you're looking for a high.
So I roll 2d6,
Yeah.
and
you add
the tough,
which is 2.
afterwards, right?
Yeah. You can do it in the dice roller as well.
That is. Huh? Did that add?
Yeah.
Yes, it did. Yeah, 7.
1 and 4, and it adds +2, so that's a 7. So that is, you do it, but there's a cost. So I think maybe you brought along a weapon specifically for the main task, which they're going to kind of take off you, or at least lose you for the most appropriate time period.
Okay.
What was that weapon, and who was it meant for?
I think I had it for Stone, actually. I came in with it, but I was going to give it to Stone later, and it was just a massive greatsword that he was just going to cleave down the golems with.
Like a big claymore, like,
yeah.
But I think it's like wrapped in like canvas or something. You know what I mean? Like the blades wrapped kind of thing, and then the golems just rip it out your hands.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think maybe it gets ripped, and maybe it's a shoddy building, right? We've probably established that. And I think you know, when you kill one or when you put one out of its unlife, you know, it falls through a plasterboard wall or whatever, and the claymore goes in there. But why don't you describe how you dispatch these two golems?
Yeah, I think for these two golems, it's hand-to-hand combat. So the two was just going on at Alva's trying to be flashy as usual, doing spinning kicks at the likes, while Stone looks on at her thinking, you know, I probably was brought back for a reason, but manages to get rid of two of them.
Okay, cool. Sydney, right? Are you at the right behind Alva's shoulder, or hanging back, or what is your
Yes,
usual routine?
I burst through the door with everyone else, and I was holding back to assess the situation better. And Alva's weapon went through the wall, right?
Yeah,
Did I get that right? Okay, so I immediately jump after it to retrieve the weapon and bring it back to her.
Okay.
Because I guess this is how I consider my role in the gang, to be on support.
I mean, you don't wonder what's in the walls.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. I just
it sounds
jump
particularly
in.
foolhardy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So when you charge into immediate danger without planning ahead, roll plus cool. So yeah, I have no idea what's in these walls, but now there's definitely something in these walls, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's giant rats or maybe sort of ghostly spirits or something like this.
So I'm rolling now, right?
Yeah. So you're rolling 2d6 plus your cool.
Okay. I got a 9.
Okay. Cool. So on a 7 to 9, you pick one. So you have 3 options. You distract whatever's there long enough to give a friend advantage on the next roll against it. You grab something without being caught. You help someone get free. So on a 7 to 9, you get to pick one, but you take 1 harm. So what do you think?
Okay, so I definitely I'm focused on the sword. So I'm trying to maybe I start wrestling with one of the zombies to get the sword back, and I accidentally hit myself with it when I snatch it away. So that's when the harm comes. But I got it, and I'm trying to get it back to my to Alva.
Yeah, so I think like when you go through the wall and kind of into the inside the bowels of the house.
Oh yeah, and I'm not even looking around, of course, because I'm so laser focused on the weapon.
Yeah, like so maybe how it would work in the show is, right, the camera sees these kind of strange like zombie bodies reaching out of the foundations or out of the walls, and you're just like scrabbling through trying to avoid the cobwebs maybe. And I think, you know, maybe you just catch your leg on a nail on the way out. So it's something not at all associated with the real danger, but just something unlucky or just something completely mundane, right?
And I suggest that maybe you grab the sword, look around, you're surrounded by golems, and you just jump straight through the plasterboard. You know what I mean? Like you just burst through the wall to get back into where everybody else is. Obviously hurting you much more than it did for the golems when they burst through the plasterboard the first time around.
Yeah. So I mark 1 harm, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's just like bruising, right, or whatever. Like Will suggests, like jumping through a wall is fine, right? The adrenaline will get you through it. So Moira, you know, what's why don't you describe the magic that is underway in the central circle, and maybe tell us how you're best placed to stop it.
So I think Moira is in the back, a little bit rolling her eyes about how unprofessional the whole group is acting, her family. But then she focuses back on the map of I think she has like a blueprint of the building, and the place where the ley lines meet is obviously somewhere in the cellar. and the way the magic, the way that we see the magic on screen is, I don't know, maybe there's some kind of distortions, like visual distortions in the air that is emanating from under the cellar, from under the floor, and the way she's not really counteracting the magic, rather than trying to trace where's the point of entry for us, for the family.
So there's like a safe route through the kind of sigils or whatever it is to reach the witch, is it?
Yes, and it's through magical means, like trying to find the best way to counteract maybe the wards and sigils.
Okay. So is this, do you think this is a kind of magical effect with attunement, or do you think this is something else?
Let me have a quick look. I think, yeah, that is probably just channeling magic forces. I mean, it could be with sharp, I don't know.
So you think it's just a kind of a risk-taking exercise to like pick your way through?
Yeah, to get the information.
Okay. Yeah, I think that sounds sharp. You're standing there trying to work out exactly the safe way through. So yeah, why don't we do that with the risky plus sharp.
Modifier. That is that looks 12?
That looks pretty good to me. Yeah, 12.
Wow.
So yeah, why don't you describe this I don't know, maybe outdated or maybe unsophisticated circle of protection that the witch has thrown up, that you can kind of very easily, I mean, you can see it very easily, at least pick a way through it.
I think for the rest of the family, it looks like just random graffiti. I mean, it's a derelict building, I think, a derelict hotel, so that there have been, squatters probably, and just punks, young folk from town, having parties there, and so it looks for most people that it's just random tags, but for Moira, it's obviously some kind of hidden sigils that prevent normal people from entering. So she closes her eyes, and when she opens them again, they're white, and she sees like a clear path through the building.
Okay, awesome. And Stone, I think this is your chance to follow up directly.
Well, I think that Moira clicks her fingers, right? Like presumptively, and then just the shadow looms behind her. Pair of glowing yellow eyes, and just maybe there's like sigils all over the door or something, right? And I just grab either side of the door and just rip it to pieces, like bare hands, like destroying the sigils and everything, allowing us access through. Which I think is risky, because I think these sigils are channeling the ley lines, right? So it's overcoming that thing. I don't think it's one of those ones where you've got like stacked moves, right? Like the terrifying one is like do it and then your next thing has that thing, but I don't think it matters here. So I'll just do a normal risky roll.
Okay. I mean, I kind of almost would have said, due to horse rule for Mora, like
Okay.
being so perfect that like you presumably
Oh yeah.
can follow her instructions, right, and get through
Yeah.
those
So
no problem.
I just rip it apart and then walk into I think like a room of like this is like the should we just go straight to like the main boss room, like, and it's like the hall, like the courtyard, like the hallway kind of thing of this, the big arching, ridiculously oversized big hallway that they built for this castle that's completely impractical for a motel because it's just all of
But
that
perfect
space.
for a powerful ritual.
Yeah. And I'm imagining that like there's just row upon row of like slightly shoddy golems, right? Like Moira deals in quality, the rival occultist deals in quantity, right? And Stone rips apart these things, and then it's like all of them in unison just step, like turn as one kind of like clockwork thing. And Stone just smiles, and we have in the background throughout this of him just ripping arms and legs off and stuff like that. Like, all silhouetted because it's Buffy.
Yeah.
Whatever. But well, then can I take terrifying?
I
As
think you
in
could.
like, yeah. Because I think as I rip apart the thing, like the magical energy courses through and reveals. So I roll plus weird. We only get 6, which means, oh no, wait, I got a plus 1. I got 7. Gets to choose 2. I will choose my next attack deals plus 1 harm, and I have supernatural movement, which is just unstoppable, basically. Like like momentum, just nothing can slow it down. Yeah.
So I think maybe we can assume everyone is in the fight, and I think Sydney, you have this claymore, right? And obviously Stone has no need of this claymore. It seems to be doing fine just with hands and knees and headbutts and whatever else. Do you think Sydney races in with this claymore unwisely, or is doing something a little bit more kind of by the book in terms of how the Franklins deal with these things?
No, at first I'm trying to get the sword back to Alva, but seeing that she's doing pretty well without it, I decided it's time for me to show what I'm worth, and I'm trying to swing the sword wildly around me.
Okay.
Obviously, no experience with that sort of thing, and it's pretty heavy, I imagine. And I'm trying to attack the closest zombies.
Do we think it's like just what we would call like an 18th century broadsword, or is it like a giant medieval two-handed sword? Will, did you have anything in mind when you described it as a claymore?
Oh, I was thinking like like a big, huge, like unwieldy kind of like crushing. It's almost like a cudgel that just has to happen. Like, calling it a blade is a bit generous. It's more that it's a big, heavy piece of metal that cleaves through mainly on weight alone, right? And obviously, like, I think like it weighs, it's like almost as much as Alva does, right?
So yeah, Adam, why don't you? I think this is just risky, right? You're getting into a fight. Although it could be foolhardy if you want to do that, but at least you have a sword, right? It's not.
I think yes, it could be risky, and I guess it would be tough, right?
Yeah, that seems to be most appropriate for a stand-up fight.
And I have a 0 in tough, which is very appropriate, and I'm rolling. Oh no, it's 10. I can't believe it.
Perfect. So yeah, why don't you quickly describe you cutting a swathe through these
I think
half-price zombies.
somehow the zombies were aligned in the perfect way, so I could just rip through them with one swing. I take the heads of like 3 of them, all clustered together, and I maybe I could. I didn't even see what I was doing because I was. It's pretty dark, and I was trying to get the hang of this huge piece of metal, but somehow it aligned perfectly. And yeah, and maybe it would be nice if someone saw that and was a little bit impressed. Maybe.
Yeah, I think.
How about Alva?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Alva is very impressed, though also a bit terrified that you're running in there with a sword that you have no idea what you're doing, but is very impressed that this somehow worked out for you.
And you see that at first I have this shocked expression on my face, like I have no idea how this happened, and then I put up a smile, like of course that's what I do.
Yeah, I always do this. Yeah, this is meant to happen.
Yeah, and how does Alva wade in then, Sean?
I think Alva will rush to Sydney's side and kind of look at him with the sword and see that it went okay and kind of not want to take it from him after it going okay,
Yeah.
and just sort of go hand to hand then beside him from there on.
So maybe we get a sight of her, fighting off the golems that he doesn't notice, and maybe having to duck every so often so that he doesn't decapitate her.
A zombie jumps out from behind his back. He has no idea. He doesn't see anything, and she just takes it out without him even knowing.
Yeah, I'm as much danger from Sydney right now as I am from the golems.
Probably more. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. Moira, I think you got the between everyone. I think maybe you've cut enough of a swathe, right, to get close to the witch. What's your plan for undoing their work?
So I think that the witch is surrounded by 3 I don't know, or maybe she's accompanied by 1 black-skinned demon with fiery eyes, and in order to get to the witch, she shouts over to Stone, or maybe who's I think Alva is more trained against demons. She will shout towards Alva. She will say, leave your useful husband and take care of this thing. And then she will try to attack the witch with, with her, I want to say some kind of tentacle magic.
I mean, so one of the options on Attuned is to hold a person or monster in place, right? So you can definitely do that to kind of stop the witch in her tracks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the way it manifests is that there's some equally evil-looking tentacles coming out of the ground, trying to hold the witch in place.
Okay, cool. So why don't you roll plus weird for that effect?
Let's see. Ouch, that is a 4.
That is pretty bad.
It is.
So, yeah, I think what do I think happens? I mean, I think the proper thing to do in a one shot is to dial everything to 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think what happens here, right, is that you see these tentacles erupting from the ground, but too late. I think you realize that your rival witch is controlling them, in fact.
Mhm.
And that when they reach out to all four of you, you can kind of see that this demon sitting or standing right beside her is not the typical demon. It is, in fact, it is fully free. It is not some kind of apparition. It's not some kind of half demon. It is a full demon from hell who should not be walking the face of the earth. And when these tentacles hit you, you pass out. And then your eyes snap open after a moment, to whatever state of affairs your bedroom is in. The alarm is blaring, and you feel, however you felt, yesterday morning when you woke up. It's almost as if this is some kind of premonition of a disaster that will end all human life in Florida, at least. So yeah, I think that is our smash cut, our first ad break. So we're 1:15 now. We take a break. Do you want to say 10 minutes? Yeah. Okay. So back at 25 past. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So everyone wakes up, or wherever they usually hang out. So Stone, I think we'll maybe start with you, right?
Yeah.
Where does Stone stay when nothing's going on?
I think that Stone, where does Stone go when there's nothing else going on? So the thing with characters that only have one purpose is, what do they do when they're not fulfilling that purpose? I think that Stone is buried, frankly. I think that in between stuff, he's just like in the dirt. In like Moira's like arcane workshop, you know what I mean? Like, he's not buried, he's like in a literal open coffin, the one that was pulled out of the ground to be reanimated by Moira back when she resurrected him as a golem.
So is this like a giant stone coffin?
Yeah,
with sigils on it and all.
With and with heavy chains that were that's still the broken fragments of it, like, are scattered around the room, right? Never tidied up afterwards. There's probably a big arcane like sigil all over the floor in this like cold basement room. And I think for the first time in a very long time, Stone awakes, like dreams for the first time in 100 years.
And what did you dream of?
I dreamt of the end of the world. I was trying to stop the darkness that was coming and failing, and summoning and all of the other, what we just saw, in fact. Yeah.
And do we get a sense maybe of like connections between what you dreamt and maybe how you ended up dead originally?
Oh yeah, I think as he wakes, he traces like the line, like a scar across his chest, and there's a quick flashback to when he died when he was the chosen, and he died when the demon ripped his heart out of his chest back in Puritan times.
Okay, cool. Do you just get up, or do you like give out a bellow of pain, or what's your reaction to this?
I think that traces it, and then like the normally like completely just stolid like he's a very silent character. He's mostly just in the background of shots a lot of the time before he rips things apart. And I think he just whispers a name. And what's the name? The name of the witch.
Okay, we should give her a name.
Eve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yeah. I'm watching Killing Eve as well, so it's just in my head. But yeah. Oh, and in fact, rather than that demon, what he remembers is being stabbed through the chest with a dagger by a woman who looks exactly the same as Eve.
Okay, cool. I guess that's in Moira's basement, right? That's
yeah, pretty much.
So,
yeah.
Upstairs. How do we see Moira awaken?
I mean, Moira is probably a couple of 100 years old, and she feels her age. So she will wear like an old-fashioned nightgown, gets up with like unreasonably fluffy, what's it called, the house shoes, arches her back and then shuffles into the kitchen to make breakfast for everyone.
And what dreams disturbed her sleep?
I think in the dream she was playing chess with Eve, but all her pieces are family members, and all pieces of Eve are golems, and she's seen one family member after the other being slain, and so she awoke in a terrible mood.
And who did you have to sacrifice to keep your kind of fighting chance alive?
I was trying to sacrifice Sydney, but there was like an evil plot, like a what is it called? She set a trap, and she went for Alva. And so Alva had to be sacrificed, unfortunately.
Okay, cool. But this is just run-of-the-mill regret for an ancient witch, is it? Or is this doesn't disturb you from your making?
No, it does disturb Moira, obviously, because Alva is the chosen one. Without her, we have no chance. I mean, Stone was resurrected in order to maybe train Alva to set a positive example. And Moira has doubts about her, but at the end, we have to trust that she will fulfill her destiny.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, let's go over to Alva and Sydney. So, what's your domestic situation like?
Well, I imagine maybe Alva gets up very early to go train.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I think I'm not there a lot of the time when you wake up. Yeah, I think we're on the same page there.
So when you wake up, I don't know, at 5 a.m. or whatever it is, what have your dreams been about, Alva?
I dreamt that I was on a motorbike and Sydney was on the back of it, and we burst through the doors on the motorbike, and Sydney jumps off the bike and pulls a sword off my back, and he's just swinging it wildly, The two of us are just gloriously blazing down everyone, and then suddenly Sydney gets struck in the heart by a tentacle.
Ouch. And so is Alva's kind of like reaction to anything like that to just train harder, right? Just to get up and
Yeah, got to do better.
banish your inner demons.
Yeah. Yeah, got to protect Sydney next time. I could have seen that coming. I could have deflected that tentacle. I could have saved him.
Okay, awesome. Sydney, though, I mean, this kind of stuff is you're putting on a brave face, but that's not normal, right? If you wake up and you have terrible dreams, it definitely means something, right? It's not to be shrugged off. What have your dreams been about?
I'm sure I was dreaming about Alva dying. Maybe there was this scene in Suicide Squad when Harley Quinn was dreaming about having a normal, wholesome life with Joker, and maybe it was something like this. That I was dreaming that we were in a normal home with a normal family, and suddenly no one was chosen, no one was destined to fight demons or anything, and suddenly some tentacles burst through the windows and grabbed Alpha and just squeezed the life out of her. And I couldn't do anything about it. I couldn't even move. I was completely paralyzed and was unable to help in any way. And this is what I was dreaming about when I woke up.
And what do you do with that kind of terrible dream? How do you react to that?
Well, I wish I could somehow save her from this life that she is forced to lead, but I know I'm unable to do that, so maybe I should just try to be of as much help as I can. But I'll be really spooked for the rest of the day, because maybe I've never really been worried about her, because I know she can handle herself and it's her job, and she's got the support of the crazy witch and even crazier golem hanging around. So I know she can handle this. But this dream was really it really got to me that she is in real danger, and maybe we're about to enter something that there's no way out of.
Yeah. So I mean, I'd like to see some interplay between the two of you, like when Alva comes back from training, like at the breakfast table or something.
Moira made breakfast, right?
Or you
Right.
all living in the same house?
Oh,
I thought so.
Okay.
I'm sorry,
yeah.
I assumed.
Yeah, I thought so too. Actually.
Yeah, I wasn't sure. I just
It's like the Addams Family a little bit.
Okay. So yeah, let's say I guess maybe Stone comes upstairs and we get a full group discussion of the weirdness.
Okay.
Yeah, Moira prepared some I don't know, scones or something, and stands in the background, still in a nightgown, and with a hot tea, and looking from one family member that she saw in her dream being slain to the other.
I think Alva rushes in back from training, gives Sydney a kiss on the cheek, and sits down. You can see she looks slightly like she has gone full out on this training session, though. Like she seems exhausted.
Okay, so Sydney sits down in his boxers and an old t-shirt, and he looks at the table. Oh, scones again.
Yes, scones again.
I guess if it works, why fix it?
It's a very old family recipe. You wouldn't understand. Stone, espresso as always. I think you're still muted, at least for me.
No, I just had my headphone at the top of my head, which is not why I wrote this. Yeah, Stone just I think just goes over and picks up the jug, right, like the filter coffee jug from the thing, and just drinks it straight out of the piping hot thing, and then just stares around at you and just says in like a monotone, it's an old recipe. It's the same one she's been making for hundreds of years.
It tastes like it too.
Yes.
Stone, is there any of that coffee left, or?
Stone just hands you over the jug. Like half of it left. And then I think goes and just starts to methodically like do the dishes, like just automated kind of like starts to tidy up around the kitchen that we're in, right? Bring it all in. Probably like grabbing a knife like just by the blade and just putting it down, not caring about any of it whatsoever. And I think he grunts out, dreamed for the first time in a long time. Did you all dream too?
What have you dreamt?
You failed.
Mora looks at Alva. What have you dreamt?
That Sydney was not with us anymore.
What do you mean? Like I moved away? We divorced?
I wish if you moved away, that'd be less painful than what I saw. No, Sydney, you were dead.
Oh, that's funny actually, because I dreamt that you were dead. But I don't think it means anything, right? And I look at Moira expectantly.
Well, when Alva
Right?
said that Sydney died, she looked like for a brief moment relieved, but then she composes herself. Yes, these are just possible futures, but we need to work together to make none of these dreams come true. And I will not fail, Stone. Not this time.
Stone just
Was that a yes or?
We have to stop it. It's coming again. I think I look at Alva and Stone says, you must stop it.
I worried as much. What did you dream, Moira?
Well, it is obvious that Eve is our enemy again. And we fought her. And we won. She's obviously lying.
Yeah, I figure, but I won't say anything.
So, plan of action. Alva, it's good to see you training again. But we need to find a way to stop Eve. I will have to go into my study and look for the old scrolls to find the name of this wretched demon she summoned. Sydney, you do whatever you do, and Stone, you probably need some rest.
No rest.
You
Not
slept
anymore.
enough, right?
Yeah. I mean, I think no time for rest, just for the hunt.
Sorry, I think the doorbell rings. I'd like to figure out a little bit about this house. You know, is it this lonely bungalow, or is it like just a regular suburban, you know, 3-bedroom house, semi-detached or whatever, or is it something else? What do we see? What do we know about the house from outside? Um, Sean, let's get your take on it.
I think Moira's been in it the longest, so if Moira has an inkling in that way, I'm cool. Otherwise, I can shout.
I mean, whatever comes to your mind.
Okay. Then I would say we're trying to seem normal, and we're in a kind of regular semi-detached house. We're trying to kind of blend in and pretend we're not this crazy, monster hunting family with a golem in the house.
Cool. And Sydney, like, despite the Franklin's best efforts, what does everyone normal in town know about them from just walking past their house?
We tend to leave some weapons around in the yard sometimes when we come back from a mission. There's a random sword or an axe lying around. When we are so tired, we just leave everything there and go to sleep. So yeah.
Just not even like a normal hatchet or wood chopping axe that you might be able to explain away. A proper medieval battle axe just propped on the front porch.
Exactly.
And Stone, like, how have you always been kind of buried here, and the house was like built around you, or?
I think I've been shipped around with Moira from place to place, right? Yeah, I think yeah, it's rather different than what I remember the last time she woke me. But I much prefer light bulbs.
They make things easier when you live in the basement.
Yeah, entirely. Yeah, it's way better than the candles were. Christ, what a pain in the ass that was.
Yeah, and Moira, like, what these things wouldn't be noticed by anyone but someone in the profession. But what defenses have you set up around the house to protect you and yours?
I think for most people, it just looks like these super cheap, plasticky dream catchers. They are hung from, in front of every window, but in fact, they are made from bone, and they have actual magical powers that protect us from ghosts and such.
So if any kind of supernatural entity tries to cross them, they'll be prevented, or at the very least, you'll kind of know about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, at the door, there's like a delivery boy with a package who needs it signed. It's like a small, like padded envelope, maybe like an A5, something. And it's, I don't know what day it is. Maybe it's normal. Maybe it's like these people never deliver on a Sunday morning or something like that.
And who is it addressed to?
It is addressed to the Franklins.
Hmm.
It's got it's the label is like a matrix printed label. You know, it looks really kind of. I mean, even in the mid-90s, it looks a bit old school, right?
Yeah, Alva will sign for it if no one else does.
Yeah, and like he just gets your signature and walks away. Inside there is like one of these newfangled flip phones, and yeah, as soon as you like touch it, like as soon as you take it out, it rings. Right.
I
Wow, that's
hesitantly hold it up. Are we answering this one?
Sure.
Flip it
be
open.
careful.
Yeah. So, what do you say? How do you answer?
A hesitant hello.
And I think there's an obviously like a professional receptionist or PA on the other side, and please hold. And like there's maybe 20 seconds of this terrible elevator music.
Bring it out here.
I mean, it is like incredibly bad elevator music. And then a voice answers, a pretty smooth voice of an older gentleman, Alva Franklin. How are you?
You have me at a disadvantage.
Well, that's how I like to operate. Well, seeing as I'll be asking you for a favor, albeit one that benefits us all, you can call me Lucifer.
Right. What do you... Well, what favor?
So one of my charges has escaped, and I think you are best placed to return them from whence they came.
Okay. Okay. Where, when, how?
Where, when, how? I mean, they are in your neighborhood right now. And the how of the situation is really something I'd rather not advertise. So, in terms of dispatching them back here, I mean, I don't think I need to teach you any tricks upon that side, but you might need a name. I imagine Moira will like a name.
I think so.
So you may know them as Azoreth. Azoreth
Azareth.
in the NPC tab.
Okay.
As is our Eve now. Okay. I mean, I don't want to. I don't think I could worry you unduly. I mean, this is your area of expertise, dispatching demons. So I don't want to presume to tell you how to do your job.
Very well. Well, in that case, Lucifer, you can... Oh, it's a beer. And we're done.
Very gracious. I will keep one on ice for you when you arrive. So, I mean, I think we can. I mean, if that's the end of the conversation, that's fine. But I imagine that Alva and the rest of the Franklins would know the kind of questions you would need to ask Lucifer. So if we want to do a flashback to continue this conversation at any point in time during the session, we can do that. And one more thing while I have you, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I guess everyone is maybe doing their own thing, or are they kind of standing around Alva trying to earwig, or what is everyone's reaction to this strange occurrence?
Stone just reaches into a cupboard and pulls out like a axe, like a hand axe kind of thing, and just thuds it down in front of Alva and says, the work begins.
That it does.
So did we all hear what was said during the conversation?
I mean, I guess certainly you would have heard. You could have easily heard Alva's side, and she said a few things that would have definitely given away who she was talking to, right? So I think that's up to you. You can kind of read as much or as little as you want for like, just like Stone did, right? He knows exactly what's going on, but you can play it for comedy if you want.
So,
Okay.
who was that on the devil? Like, I imagine it's not the first time that Moira and Stone have had some sort of arrangement with Saint Nick in the past, right?
The adversary.
Guys, how do we know it was the actual devil? I mean, anyone can call someone and tell them over the phone that they're the devil and they have a job for you.
It's not the most common prank call, Sydney, I must say.
Is this what we're doing now? We're taking...
Needs
I
must
get
when
that,
the devil
but from
drives.
strangers over the phone now?
And then I think Stone just hands Sydney like a knife and just nods like, yes, that's exactly what we're doing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
If this is not the first time you've had dealings with himself, like what, from Moira's point of view, like what was the last job you did, or the last interaction you've had with Lucifer?
I think it was some kind of quid pro quo where the Lucifer pointed us maybe towards a very important book, an old book, and in exchange, I think Moira and Stone. I don't know, Stone. What do we have? What did we have to do to earn this?
I think the flashback is of just Moira silhouetted, but like the reflections of fire, right? Like kind of like flickering lights and fire, and just like Stone just like striding past, like covered in blood.
Whatever we did, it wasn't pretty.
It was not pretty, yes. Yeah. Maybe like as we walk past, and there's like a little sign saying Roanoke on the side or whatever, right? Like,
so what was, like, how did Lucifer get in contact with you then, and what's the kind of the fact about this one that makes you believe it's still them?
I think it was a similar situation that we were in a house, probably, I don't know, back in Scotland or somewhere, and there was a how do you call them, like somebody on a horse that passes on letters,
like a messenger, or even a postman.
Yeah, probably a messenger, like a messenger on the horse.
Yeah.
And maybe it was exactly the same guy.
Okay.
The little tricon at different points, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah,
The
the
British
clothes
are coming.
changed. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
The clothes changed, but the face was the same.
And now we wear a little, like, the FedEx like shorts and polo shirt kind of thing and sandals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In a period and place appropriate messenger garb. That's the outfit listing on the sheet.
Mhm.
Um,
So Moira will tell Sydney, trust me, it was the adversary. It was him, capital H-I-M.
Well, if you say so, then how do we go about that business? Did he leave us any clues? Do we have a place to start?
Well, apart from making exceptionally well scones, I also have the means to find things out. Just give me a couple of minutes. And Moira will dramatically shuffle to the basement, to the cellar, and yeah, try to find out where. First of all, try to find out who let's see, Azoref is. Maybe weaknesses. And I don't know if Alva maybe can help her in trying to triangulate. Is that a word? Like to pinpoint the source of, the crazy magic that is around. And maybe it's something like a pendulum that you can use to at least find the direction to where we have to go, while Moira is trying to find something out about the demon.
yeah, so the move there for Moira is studious, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you stay behind the port over occult tomes, roll +sharp. For everyone who helps you, add +1. So I guess this doesn't necessarily mean they have to help you with the books, but like you suggest, if someone helps you like work on other things that you're trying to figure out, I think it's like a group action in some ways. Right? So yeah, I guess you have Alva helping you out. What about Stone and Sydney? Are they the type of people who?
I would like to help. I can hit the books and maybe use my lucky move to miraculously find something relevant.
You flip through the books and it opens up on the perfectly right
exactly,
page. Yeah, I like it.
Exactly.
Page
Cool.
1554 was the lucky number.
I don't think Stone is helping. I think Stone just leaves and holding something wrapped in cloth.
Okay.
And is just going to be walking around the town of Sunset.
I was imagining sharpening an axe or sharpening
Yes.
the axe in the house.
Yeah. Out in the backyard, you just hear a fuck.
And I think Moira is scolding Sydney.
All the axes.
Get your stupid fingers off of. Oh, this one. And then she looks over the page.
Okay. So, I guess you're rolling +sharp +2, one for Alva, one for Sydney, which gives you
+3.
a creditable +3.
And that is an 11.
Okay, it's pretty handy. You get to ask 3 questions about your predicament. So how about So Sydney is being lucky with something, but maybe let's hold that off for a little while. So maybe if we ask 1 or 2 questions first, and then we'll have Sydney's lucky stumbling onto something specific, and then maybe you can ask 1 follow-up question about that.
Mhm.
Okay. So here's where I have to earn my corn as an MC, making stuff up on the fly. not just 1 fact, but 4 of them. So yeah, what's your first question?
So I think related to what Alva was doing. So I was imagining that I don't know, Sean, you can help me, but that somehow the combination of the books that we have and maybe like a pendulum or some other means of trying to find out where the demon normally would manifest. So your question could be related to finding the location of the demon.
Yeah, for sure. I like to think as well that when I'm doing that, like some lesser demons escaped along with Azareth, and I'm kind of like trashing out these lesser demons as I go as well to, not have their traces sort of mucking with the signal we're trying to pick up from Azareth.
So the first question would be, where is he? Or where can we normally find him? Or where would he most likely be in the neighborhood?
Yeah, and I wonder, right, if let me know how this sounds. Our opening section, right, with the castle motel and the ley lines there. Maybe all of that was completely unknown to you, right? But your kind of intuition from that dream or from that kind of premonition is that there's some kind of source of demonic energy just outside of town on that site. And so maybe we bring it back around to there, right? There's a previously unknown source of power there.
Maybe like maps of the ley lines and charts and things all over it, right? And like, there's all the nexuses, and then there's like this point that doesn't intersect with any of the ley lines. It shouldn't be there, kind of thing. But yeah, it's still drawing all of the lodestones and stuff towards it.
And then the second thing I think is that the book that Sydney by chance opened on the right page is probably bound in skin with what is it called, cold iron binding and stuff, and a silver chain. And inside is on that page is a picture of the demon of Azareth, and also there's the answer to the question, what is he most vulnerable to? What is its weaknesses? Or what could it be tempted by or something?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think out on this plane of existence, it needs a body to inhabit, one that is attuned to magic to kind of withstand the dark energies that its presence would bring within the body. So I think it needs the body of a witch to just walk around normally without having its demonic visage obvious to all.
So that would probably be Eve then?
Or you.
Maybe I should stay behind.
Well, I mean, the weakness, right, is that, you could be bait, right?
Mhm.
So if you were to entrap it some way by revealing yourself, that would definitely draw it out. But obviously, your mileage may vary on that one.
Well, I mean, we are family, and sometimes sacrifices have to be made. It would be preferable if it's somebody else, but
Yeah. I think you've got one last question, right?
I mean, we could also, can we hold off on the question?
Yeah. To be revealed at a appropriately dramatic point in time, right?
Or if somebody has an idea, I mean, we know its weakness, we know its position.
I think holding off's good, but
yeah, I'm happy to have you keep that one in the bank for when you get into real trouble or whatever. Flashbacks for the win, right? Okay, cool.
Something gives away that you are a Blades in the Dark GM once in a while.
Every once in a while. I mean, I haven't actually run Blades in the Dark for years now at this stage.
Oh wow!
Yeah. My big 20 session long cult campaign came to an end a couple of years ago, so I haven't dipped back into it since.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we see like a montage where we prepare for battle?
Yeah. I think that's a good place to cut to. Yeah, what do you think? Out and about with your scouting and or maybe doing the kind of hard physical preparations or meditation or whatever it is that people do. Yeah, so let's do a quick round and get a kind of a montage, a couple of montage elements from everyone. Let's start with Alva.
Yeah, I think Alva is going to take a small bit of time to herself and drive out to a nice spot on the cliffside that she just a high up spot essentially, and look out over the city and just prepare for what's to come in quiet meditation.
Okay, cool. Sydney.
Yeah, I think Sydney goes to the training room that Alva uses so frequently, and he tries to get a little of a workout going, but he gets tired super fast, so he just gives it up after a few minutes because he's all winded and sweaty already. And he decides to just stick with weaponry, practically any big melee stuff.
So we maybe see him like taking big chunks out of some firewood with an axe. That's grand. That's
and
all
then
yeah. So Maura, how about you?
Yeah, I have a question for the rest of the family. Do you think we have like an old Cadillac, black Cadillac, I don't know, Undertaker car or something? Or how do we move out? Do we have like a A-team kind of vehicle, but then appropriate to the type of family we are?
I'm imagining it's Sydney's pickup truck.
Yeah, like a Toyota one.
Yeah.
Absolutely indestructible.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess now we know what the Franklins see in Sydney, right? He is a proper car.
Yeah, Moira will. We see like a shot of Moira in her basement, obviously.
Completely, completely inconspicuous.
Say that
That's
again,
when it comes
Sydney.
through. Sorry, Sydney.
You just broke up
No,
there,
no,
Adam.
sorry, I was trying to see if. Okay, how about now?
Yeah,
Am
you're
I
good now.
Yeah, it's a bit choppy,
coming
the
across, or
connection.
not at all? Okay. Yeah, I have some problems.
None of us can fix the internet.
That is true. Not
Yeah.
even with magic.
Yeah.
So Moira will disrobe, and there are like 2 jars. One that says human blood, and the other says, I don't know, ichor or something. And she will paint runes on her whole body, and then slip into, I don't know, like a red robe or something.
I think Stone's already you really just cut to Stone walking down the road with a machete in one hand, and just trailing along the floor as he just stalks towards wherever it is we're going. He didn't wait for everybody else, he just set off. Like, that's his purpose.
So we eventually we see the pickup truck like catch up with him, and he's like jumps in.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sydney comes up alongside, and Stone just vaults into the back. Yeah.
I think that is a good place to take our next break. I've got 18 minutes past. How does 25 seem to come back?
Okay.
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, cool. So yeah, the red Toyota pickup of doom trundles down the highway towards the Castle Motel. It's a bit of chit chat, or is the Franklin family kind of at this stage all business? Alva, are you driving, or is that Sydney's job?
I think Sydney's the driver on this one.
I think
I drive the bikes, Sydney drives the truck.
This might be my only useful function in the group.
So does Sydney have like a taxi driver vibe?
So I'm looking. Look.
Sorry, Adam, can you try again? You broke up there for a second.
Yes. Sorry about that. I don't know what's happening. I to calm down and let me focus on the road.
Okay, so how about the rest of the family? Are you all straight faced and thinking about death, or what's Alva's approach to this?
I think unless Stone has some tips from past life, Alva will be fairly deadpan.
Okay. Yeah. So I think what's about to happen, right, is that some great big structure in town is going to end up hurtling its way to the ground to smash you into it. And I like to think that it has maybe something like a water tower, right, that has been just pushed over by some stonking demon. And I think, obviously that's disaster level intervention, but I think, as the water tower maybe starts to fall apart as it falls over towards you, all the water inside it is like on fire, right? It's up to 11 in terms of demonology. So yeah, I think this is the demons making sure that you do not reach your the lesser demons making sure you don't reach your destination. Who's the kind of person who is looking out the window aimlessly and notices this first? Do you think it's Sydney, or is he too focused on the road?
He might be.
But then again, you are lucky, right? So.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So if you notice this thing first, what do you do with that kind of sudden panic?
Try to alert the others, certainly, to look over what's happening, and I don't know, maybe just ask what we should do about it.
I think Stone just like stands on the cab of the thing and just leaps towards the tower and is going to try and just catch it, like the crushing wreckage as Sydney goes like, what should we? And this looming shadow comes over, right?
Okay.
Stone's just going to try and like physically just like Superman it off the side, right?
Okay, awesome.
Like immovable object style.
So Stone is like sitting in the flatbed, right, of the pickup,
Mm.
and like he just steps onto the cab and then like jumps out into the air.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Like right in the shadow, like it's coming down right over that way, and like he just runs over to it's like bridging the gap right before it can land on top of the truck, which I think would be a tough.
Certainly sounds risky. So yeah, tough.
Yeah, entirely. And I'm very hard to destroy. So let's say that this is clearly would kill me if I don't do it.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I think this would kill anything normal.
And it does. Yeah, I think that's right. Like I just get crushed by it, right? Like entirely. Like perhaps like twist it slightly away from the road, and it just rolls over the top of me and just like a big silent, like the drum of the water tower, even like just like rolls and there's a crunch like as it goes over.
So like inside the car, does someone like get Sydney to speed up or to slow down or brake?
I think when Sydney says that, Alva's just like, effing go faster, and she also jumps out, but not to stop the terror, to try and get the demon that's like pushed it over or is still pushing it over.
And so like the pickup, with all your stuff in it, and probably more importantly, Sydney and Moira, right? It's like accelerates, and in that split second between that acceleration and Stone like hitting the water tower, you get underneath that safely, and then like behind you in the rear view mirror, or in front of you for Alva, you just see this conflagration explode as it hits the ground, and like Stone is gone, right? There's just detritus and fire all over the road, like it's napalm. Stone, you have a move for this, right?
I do, which I have rolled, and I have
you are
7.
very hard to destroy. When you have been killed, roll plus tough.
Yes, on a 7 to 9, I choose 2, and I think that I will choose. I don't bring something with me across from the Vale, and I have 0 harm, but it does mean that I am pinned underneath this wreckage. Like seemingly dead, right? Like just crushed and dead. And I guess I will be like that for like the scene, right? Like,
Yeah. So
and then at the end of it, I'll just like eyes roll back in the skull, just wake up and shift the tower off me, right, and stand back up. I'm imagining it a bit like Captain Scarlet.
Yeah.
You know, like you die and you come back, and you die and you come back, and you die and you come back over and over again. The most Lovecraftian of Jerry Anderson things.
So the options that you don't take are you have been knocked out for just a few minutes.
Yes,
and you aren't in a compromised position.
So I am in a compromised position, and I am knocked out for more than a few minutes. So
yeah,
you know, I think that wraps up in the I am out of action for, you know, pinned underneath this wreckage as a fire burns everywhere. Probably like you can just see like an arm pinned like out from it, right? That's like on fire like beneath this thing.
So maybe the compromised position is like if a demon were to reach you while you're reforming, they might be able to do something more permanent or, you know, corrupt you in some way. How does that sound?
Yeah, remove the runes that animate me, that Moira carved into my chest.
Yeah,
like over that scar. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So so we have Sydney and Moira kind of driving through, seeing this in the rearview mirror. We have Alva on foot in front of the explosion, looking at this demon. So yeah, why don't you describe this demon for us, Alva, and kind of say what kind of a challenge it's going to be, and maybe how you know exactly how to deal with it.
Yeah, I think this demon looks kind of like almost a lesser version of Azareth, where it's almost like he is kind of like crumbled and ashy, and this demon is even more so ashy. And you can see that there's kind of almost like visible cracks forming in this demon as opposed to Azareth, indicating some of the weak points in the demon. Still a challenge, still a difficult demon, but has more weaknesses in physical structure than Azareth does.
Okay, cool. So I think this is a good opportunity to get to use your move, lethal, right? You know how to efficiently dispatch demons. When you attack this type of monster, roll whatever stat seems most appropriate.
Cool. I would say it's tough, but if someone thinks otherwise,
yeah, I think that works. So how are you going to attack us? What do you do?
In this case, Alva is straight up like just rolls in trying to look cool and tries to just tear from the cracks in the ash to try and like tear them open.
So you're like using some kind of weapon, like meat hooks or something like that to break open the.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, it just pulls two from the side and is just trying to tear those open. So I roll 2d6. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. You. Yeah, I don't. I don't think there's an advantage on this one. It's just this is the move you get when you're attacking your favorite foe. Yeah. So 2d6.
Cool. 2d6 and then plus 2. Let's see. That's 9.
Okay. So you get to pick one from the list.
I think I will pick putting my enemy where I want them, as in whether or not that means, you know, finish off or at a like disadvantage where they're sort of like starting to tear at the seams, ready for perhaps a final blow from someone.
Yeah, maybe you kind of dissipate it a bit, and it's gotta find some fire to reform or something for later. Okay, cool. So I think you're going to take some damage because it's fighting back while you're trying to pull it apart, right? So I think take your take 2 damage, right? Because it's
Cool.
tough, right? And I
Yeah.
think when it just punches into you, right, you see the ash and the dust from its impact just shower the surrounding area with that, and it's definitely not pleasant to breathe. Like there's this sulfurous smell in the air.
Yeah, there's like small bubbles on my skin a bit where it hits from the heat.
Okay, yeah. So like it's giving you kind of sunburn or blisters or
Yeah.
whatever it is whenever it impacts. Okay, cool. So yeah, I think yeah, up front, the car. Sydney, are you stopping the car or turning back around, or what's your plan?
Testing.
Yeah, that's better.
Okay. I changed the location. Maybe it'll be better here. Yeah, as soon as we clear the napalm like stuff on the road, I hit the brakes and maybe turn the van the pickup around, trying to find Alva, of course, trying to see her, if she's okay, and also Stone, but I can't seem to see him anywhere. Did he stay behind?
Yeah.
So-
Moira will rummage in her package and mention to Sydney, Stone will be okay.
You sure he took the whole force of the blast straight in the face?
And I don't know, she probably has like a gigantic needle and some yarn, and she says, I will stitch him together. It's not the first time he died.
And there's a chill going up my back when I hear this, because I'm still not quite used to it. So I reverse the car to find Alva.
So yeah, there's yeah, I think we want to accelerate this, right? The pool of napalm that's burning, like the tarmac or the road is kind of falling apart under this intense heat. And I think you see, like, when you turn around, there's like a few rivulets of flames going towards you and going past you when you turn around. And I think in the distance, right, you see this strange light. It's, I don't know what time of day it is, but it's not, the sun shouldn't be setting over there right now, any time of day or night. But that's what it looks like. Yeah, and I think I guess that flame is covering the road, but past the road on the verge, you can kind of see Alva fighting with this demon until she kind of knocks him out into his component dusty pieces to kind of slink away. What do you how scary is this for Sydney, given his dreams last night?
Oh, super scary. And I drive over and to let Alva get in, and I'm asking, "Are you okay?"
You can physically see like kind of blisters on her face and stuff, and she doesn't say too much, but you can see she's a bit injured for a while.
Mm-hmm. Should we abort? Do you want to?
We can't.
Maybe we should find a hospital first.
There's no time. Not today.
Okay, I look back at Moira and try to assess what her take is on this.
And Moira walks over to the water tower, and there's the hand sticking out, and she just I don't know, swashes out, is that a word? The flames, like puts them out, and holds Stone's hand and tries to concentrate on giving him some energy back.
You splash out the burning hand, right? That's like still on fire, and you
Yes.
just, with a big sigh of like, oh, this again, every
This
time.
again.
Yeah.
And she looks over to Sydney and says, Alva will be okay, like an aspirin, and we're good to go.
Okay.
Perhaps Sydney even realizes that this isn't the first chosen that Moira's stitched back together again, right?
Yeah, and this
Alva
doesn't
will be
bode
fine.
well.
Yeah.
Yeah, one way or the other, you know, she's going to be around for a long time.
Yeah. Well, okay. Is Stone still on fire or smoking slightly?
But yeah, I think as Moira, I mean, we're done with the demon fight now, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
you know, and then just that hand clenches and then digs down into the ground and then just like shrugs off the wreckage of the thing and just stands out like all messed up, and just the wounds like don't bleed, but then just starts to reform on his face. And Stone just like looks and just nods at Alva, like at the, you know, like, good job, you killed that thing. That's what we're here to do, kill these things.
So one of the things, you know, you shrug off that water tower, and the kind of big barrel part of it just kind of rolls, still on fire, down the road. And then I think all of you looking at Stone see that sigil inscribed on his chest or wherever it is, kind of glow, right? As it helps with the Reformation magic. But Stone, you feel something else, like someone is trying to control you or take you over in some way, or maybe even corrupt the magic.
There are flashes of just like, you know, like Moira's eyes like locked to me, and there's a flash where it just cuts across to like Eve's set of eyes instead, right? Like burrowing in, and
cool.
it's just like those flashes across the screen. A whisper, maybe, like, you know, I remember you, kind of thing.
Do we get a sense that Stone and Eve had, like, this was it? This was just an adversarial relationship the first time he was alive, or is there something more there that we see in this connection?
I mean, you know, there's a reason that the Chosens are not supposed to have steady partners, right? Hopefully Sydney's less of a threat than Eve turned out to be.
Yeah, so I think as you kind of piece yourself back together, that strange sunset down the road turns into fire, and you see Azeroth, you know, walking down the road towards you, bathed in the fire of this kind of napalm road to hell.
I love the idea that there's just fire now, like dotted up the road, you know, like as we drive through. Smoke on the horizon, right? Like it's all getting very apocalyptic, kind of. Yeah.
You know, making Florida a hellhole since 1995.
Nothing has changed.
So yeah, I think, you know, there is, you know, I think you're relatively close to the castle motel, right? And at the crossroads just outside it, you come face to face with Azeroth, because crossroads are where all the cool things with demons happen, right? So,
and of course, motels are by crossroads as well, right? So
yeah.
Does Moira have time to maybe attempt to heal Alva?
Yeah, I think you're driving down the road, or maybe before you leave, right? You have an opportunity to heal. So yeah, I think that's fair.
So it's probably some kind of you know, crushed herbs or something that she puts on Alva's face, and then mumbling some arcane words.
Yeah. So there's an effect in the attuned move
Mhm.
for healing or
Yes.
inflicting one harm.
Trying to heal.
Try to heal, yeah. So why don't you roll plus weird for that?
Yes.
So is this kind of, you describe like herbs? Is this kind of essentially a folklore-y kind of, or maybe arcane, in terms of how it goes, or is it like a full ritual?
It's not a full ritual because we don't have the time.
Yeah.
If she had the time, it would look more professional. But this is time for folk magic. But it worked apparently. We got an 11.
An 11 is pretty good. So I guess you heal one of Alva's harm
Mhm.
with no glitches.
Nice.
And I imagine, right, like the smell of this herb has got to be familiar to everyone. Maybe Stone and Alva have had previous close encounters, but for Sydney, maybe this is like just how the Franklin's house smells, right? There's always this weird herb stuff going on.
It's the Moira smell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of those kind of back garden herb patches now make perfect sense, right? You need a steady supply of these herbs that no one else in the world grows. Right?
And I think Moira pinches Alva in the cheek like she did when Alva was 7 years old in the slightly paternalistic way. You will be a right child.
Thank you, Moira. I feel better now.
Okay, cool. So I guess we have all our prep right from all your research and this so far in terms of facing off with Azeroth. Any final questions or prep to be done now that you're face to face?
I think we're in a good shape.
Okay, cool. Remember, you got one question still.
I
in the
know.
bank. Yeah. So don't forget that. Yeah. So. Yeah. So maybe it's good to kind of. What's the one kind of sentence of remember this? This is our plan that Moira says to everyone before you get out of the pickup.
I think she turns mainly to Stone. I mean, that is a question to Will. Moira probably does know that you have a history with Eve?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. I think you have a history with Eve as well.
Yeah. But not a romantic one. Moira will tell Stone, remember not to be tempted by her beauty.
Yeah, and Stone has a face of stone and just simply doesn't even respond, just like grabs the axe that he's sharpening earlier.
And then she turns to Sydney and says, so quiet that maybe Alva can't hear her, and she says, you don't make yourself a target. Alva has a purpose, and that purpose is not protecting you.
Maybe I'm here to protect her, huh? Did you think about that?
I thought about this. And then she turns to Alva and says, remember that you are the chosen one. I can't beat the demon, and Stone can't. It's on your shoulders.
I know, it is my destiny. I'm aware.
And I don't know, does Moira have a shotgun? I would like her to have a shotgun, because then the last thing is she will load it. Let's go.
I mean, I think if you have a pickup, you have a shotgun.
Yes.
That's the way it works.
I think it's easier to get a shotgun than a medieval axe in America. So if we have axes, we have shotguns.
The founders were not referring to medieval axes when they talked about the right to bear arms. Okay, so yeah, you get out of the truck loaded for bear, and Azeroth is standing there, kind of bathed in the backlit of fire, and yeah, I think it is quite pleased with itself. You can see signs of kind of magic leaking out of the motel. Maybe signs of this kind of ritual that is being done in there. But yeah, I mean, by and large, it's just a bad situation to be in. So, Alva, what do you do?
I think so. We're still in the truck. We're on.
Or I kind of assumed that you'd gotten out, but you can still be in the truck if you want.
Okay. Yeah, Alva is going to basically start to make her way to face Azareth, however that may, I don't know if it's just him or if there's obstacles in the way, but she's trying to she knows it's her destiny that she has to face off with Azareth, so she's beelining to him.
Okay, cool. Sydney.
So I totally go after her and say, Alva, wait, don't take him on alone. We're here with you.
What kind of response does that get from Alva?
Alva's sort of in just kind of complete focus. She barely even takes it in at the moment. It's just like only Azareth is her sights at the moment. It's like, I have to do this.
Cool.
And I guess Stone repeats line for line, I think, a one from Buffy, and just says to Sydney, "The chosen is always alone."
Are you following as well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm imagining that the general strategy is Stone and Alva try and, Alva's the only one who can kill it, perhaps, but Stone is there to sort of run interference, maybe die all over again.
Cool. And Moira.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how to bait the demon into possessing her, because that is its weakness. If somebody has an idea how to how to exploit the weakness.
I think you make it rain. And it sizzles and the molten skin in the thing and then it begins to crack under the cooling effect of the rain,
And then maybe it has to leave its body or
because
something.
The body is falling apart and
yeah, that is a good idea. Can I do that? Can I make it rain?
The attuned move is magical, right? I mean, I think making it rain would be to do one thing beyond human abilities, right?
That could be the thing.
That's a very broad effect. But
yeah, I'm trying to get there's the other effect that is summon a monster. Maybe I can summon some kind of water creature like a.
Well, maybe it's hold a person or monster in place, right? Because whereas before Azareth has sort of a husk and a body that moves beneath it, it just turns into as it cools, it solidifies around him, and he can't. He's now bound to this vessel as opposed to.
And that is by the means of having it rain.
Yeah,
that is cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think we could squint and see any of those effects have our desired outcome. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with that. So yeah, why don't you? This sounds like it would be a ritual that might take a bit of time, right? And you're under pressure. So
Yeah.
how about we hold off on the roll until we think it's about to come to effect, and then we roll and see whether it works out for you.
Perfect.
Right. Okay, cool. So I guess we have Alva, Stone, and Sydney facing off against Asaroth.
How does the demon behave when he sees us? Does he attack, or is he just waiting for
He
us
is
to make
just
a move?
waiting, right? And I think you get a sense of satisfaction, right? Like, obviously, he sent the lieutenant off to deal with you, but he likes to flex. He wants to maybe do this himself.
Mhm.
So it hasn't got the plan for him, but he's not upset. And I think its voice is like crackling fire, right? And maybe it takes your ears a little while to tune into it because it's just like a strange accent. So it says something first, and then like the second thing it says makes sense. Well, if it isn't the chosen, past and present.
And her people.
I mean, I don't know what a crackling fire sounds like when it snorts derisive laughter, but you'll have to imagine.
Lucifer wants you back.
Can't always get what we want, can we, Alva? You are certainly not going to get a happy ending. Why should Lucifer?
We all get an ending, though, demon. Yours is now.
And when was yours, Stone?
Over and over and over again. Perhaps today will be the last.
I can do you a deal. I can end you forever.
You can try. And I'm going to throw the axe at him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good old trusty axe.
Yeah, why not? Chekhov's axe.
So do we think this is like a setup to an attack? So is this a terrifying move?
No, I think it's just a straight
Or-
up just attack,
just
doing
risky.
something risky, because I think there's always a potential when you throw an axe at someone, it sounds like a risky thing to do, right?
Yeah. So is this sharp, do you think? This is like a surprise attack or a move that you wouldn't expect?
I mean, I think it's just, it's a fairly one note thing. It's tough again. It's
Okay,
it's just yeah.
Brute force.
Yeah. And that is a 9. I do it, but there's a cost. I'd like to suggest that maybe right. I throw it and he catches it out of the air, right? And laughs, and then as he laughs and brings it down, I just punch him in the face as hard as I can, and he staggers back, but then he brings the axe down on me, like sends me flying back with it as well, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I take some level of harm, I suppose.
Yeah. If Lieutenant is 2, then demon with axe is, or full demon with axe might be 3. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm fine with that. 3.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'd like to, if we can roll immediately into reveal my monstrous form as it cuts into me, and there's the sort of, the runes and the ley energy that animates me comes like crackling out of the big axe wound in my chest, right? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
And we kind of see the stitching start to work its magic, right? Even as the axe blade passes through, the top of the wound just slowly knits together.
And I don't attract an unwanted attention, but my next attack will deal +1 harm. But yeah, stone, I think, gets flung straight through the cab of the Toyota, and crunching it down. Right.
Okay, cool. Who's next? I mean, who is least surprised by Stone's, crazy antics of throwing his weapon away?
Well, I'm definitely maybe shaken a little.
I'm not surprised at all. So
This is what he always does.
yeah, exactly. I'm prepared for this.
Okay, cool. So why don't you wade in?
Yeah. I think Alva pulls out 2 like stone daggers that have been inscribed by Mora. They're like prepared for fighting demons.
Okay, so these flint, flint kind of daggers bound in leather or something.
Yeah.
So old school, they're prehistory.
Yeah. Exactly. Not the typical weapon, and she is going to, engage with Azareth.
Okay, so roll. I think this is tough, right? This is a knife fight with a demon. Can't get
Yeah.
much tougher than that. So yeah, roll lethal.
That's a 12.
There you go. That's pretty good. So you pick 2, right?
Yeah, I think I'll go with the. Unless he has some lesser demons here too, I think we'll go with putting my enemy where I want them and avoiding taking harm.
Okay, yeah. So is there something about this axe? Maybe you practiced against it so often, and its movements, no matter who is wielding it, are just so familiar to you.
Yeah, I'm used to the training sessions with stone.
Yeah. And then I think, obviously, pending magical intervention from Moira, right? You're putting Azeroth kind of in the right place to be hit by that.
Yeah, and the
Makes sense.
these they're almost like a focus from the runes on these weapons, so it
Okay.
amplifies the effect of the magic.
Cool. Yeah. Okay. And Sydney. I mean, how long is it before you jump into action?
Yeah, not long actually, because once Alva is involved directly, I feel the need to get mixed up in it as well. But what can I do to the demon? How big is the demon? I don't know if we established that.
I think regular human size. Maybe
Okay.
you're taller than him, actually.
Yeah.
Being played by Jeff Goldblum means you're taller
exactly
than most people. So you're also taller than this ancient immortal demon, right?
Okay. So Alva doesn't seem to be an immediate danger, because she seems to be doing quite all right. Maybe I get the inkling that I can't really do anything to the demon. Maybe I should just get back in the truck and ram it.
What can possibly go wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, that sounds foolhardy, right?
Yeah, because there's some other people.
There's other people
allies.
fighting the demon, so ramming the demon without ramming them seems like threading the needle.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that is charging into immediate danger without planning ahead, for sure.
Okay.
Yep.
So roll plus cool, and that's
okay.
Cross our fingers.
Thankfully, I have high cool stat, and it's a 13.
See, all you have to do is roll high, and Yeah. So why don't you describe it? I
So
guess you.
so it is a Toyota of Doom after all.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, describe it, and then you've got one option without a downside. So, um, I mean, distracting whatever's there long enough to give a friend advantage on the next roll would make an awful lot of sense, or
Yeah.
helping get someone free if you want to kind of get them out of trouble.
Yeah, I don't think they're in a lot of trouble at the moment. So yeah, I'm ramming the demon so as to get him to focus his attention on me. Maybe on the car. I'm ready to sacrifice the car if necessary, if that's what it takes for Alva or Stone to deliver the blow. I'm fine with it. So yeah, I'm trying to get the demon to just focus on me entirely.
Yeah.
And
so like whatever way the fight is
or maybe even pin him to the wall of the motel, maybe to make him extra vulnerable. That would make sense.
I think if he's going to be rained on, he probably wants to be out in the open, right, instead of under the eaves of a building.
Okay.
But yeah, I think if you knock, I mean, like you thread that
so
needle between.
Maybe I just knock him over, and he's partly blocked by the car.
Yeah. So like the bull rams hit him, and he goes under, and then maybe he's like trapped under a wheel or something like that. Cool.
And I yell as I do it, "Look out!" And
so obviously he looks up, like 1 second too late to move, right? But that's a good cut. Moira, your magic has been going on for a couple of minutes now. Why don't you describe it and then make a roll? Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, I think she got on her knees with a knife, and she's carving these symbols into the dirt, muttering arcane words. And the more she's carving and the more she's muttering, there's like the sky is getting grayer and grayer, and clouds are gathering. And then there is a very local, obviously her gray-white hair is being moved by an invisible wind that doesn't affect anyone else. And then it pours out of the cloud and hits the, hopefully, I'm describing things before I rolled.
Yeah. So make the roll, and let's see how it goes.
Does this one have an advantage from Sydney, or?
Yeah. So I think I think if this is the roll to use the advantage on, you can roll an extra die first and take the best two.
So I rolled an 8, and I will roll another d6. Let's see. That is a 5.
So you take the 2 5s.
And the 2, so it's a 12, I guess.
Yeah, cool. So no glitches. So yeah, I think the rainstorm kind of opens up the heavens, right, as you described, and this kind of pelting rain comes down, and I think the road is the area is not maybe designed for this level of rainfall, and it starts to fill up, like the storm drains are clogged, and he's on the ground, right? So it's not like just the rain falling on him now, he's like underwater. So yeah, I think that is definitely a bad thing from his ashy self's point of view. And yeah, as planned, I think, right, he sees you there doing this magic, and maybe he was ignoring you before or not even aware of you before, but no, he looks at you doing magic and knows that you are the best place to be in this rainstorm for him.
And I think she starts walking towards him with maybe without the shotgun, just with her hands held up, ready to take him in.
Yeah. So, I mean, like out of character, right? I'm presuming that, given that you knew that this was his weakness and you were going to entrap him, like you have something prepared, right?
Mm-hmm.
For when he makes that inevitable move to do something that he may not have foresaw. Yeah.
And I think it will probably be the chosen who has to cast him back to hell once he's trapped inside of Moira.
Cool. Okay. So yeah, Sydney, I mean, what, like, looking out the window of your truck or whatever, like what do you see on the demon's face or in the demon's body that tells you that, you know, he is doing something like dangerous? Maybe that was discussed before, but like leaving this body and trying to take over Moira.
It's like the color is leaving the body, and it's going like really pale, really ashen looking. The skin is really pale and colorless, and maybe there might be something in the eyes that shows it. You know. How about some because there's the water is falling on the body, so maybe there's smoke starting to come out of the body as well, because the demon is physically burning up from the inside.
Or like the water is extinguishing this fire, and
Yeah,
you're getting a lot of smoke out.
And it's sizzling, and maybe the smell isn't the best.
Yeah, rotten eggs again.
I like the idea that maybe the steam or the smoke that's coming off his body is snake-like or tentacle-like and moves towards Moira.
Okay, yeah, nice. Stone, like what's your part in this ritual? Do you have to like do something to make sure that the demon can't escape back to his own body, or what's your part?
I think it's to dismantle this husk of a body and drive him out, like it's, you know, as he's like reach down, put one foot on, and then just try and snap off like the arm or whatever, right? Or pull the head off, like.
Or there's a sledgehammer in the pickup, you know.
Yeah, but with the hands, no, definitely with the
Oh,
hands.
you're just gonna fist, you know,
just like
over and over
pull,
again,
like just mechanical.
Oh, so Sydney jumps out and takes the sledgehammer and tries to help, but he's much less effective at this than Stone is with his bare hands. But he's doing his best.
Okay, so Moira, what does this feel like when this ancient demon kind of starts to inhabit your body, and maybe before it realizes that it's kind of being trapped by your precautions?
I think for Moira, she feels his how to call it, like not enthusiasm but stronger. It's like a the triumph, like an evil triumph inside of her, and then obviously physically the heat, but like her body is burning up.
Cool. And then what is the precaution? What's the ritual that you've maybe done before that prevents him from taking you over and in fact traps him inside?
Yeah, I think she gave some artifact, maybe an amulet or something, to Alva, and because Moira itself is now unable to do anything, she has to prevent the demon from completely consuming her. Alva has to then, I don't know, like trap the demon inside the amulet. Does that sound right?
Cool. Yeah. So yeah, Alva, I think you're kind of seeing this whole scene play out, right? The kind of tentacles of smoke that come out of the demon's body, and then wrap up Moira, and then slowly kind of dissipate into her, and then Stone and Sydney destroying the body that he left behind until it's your moment to strike.
Okay. I like the idea of perhaps, and shout if it doesn't really work, but Moira painted herself with like kind of runes and stuff before this came out. So Alva like almost act like you've given her a pattern of like runes to activate to drive the demon out of you. So she's like trying to activate these runes to draw it back into the device she was given by Moira to capture it inside.
Cool. So I think this is a move, right? But I think it's going to be with advantage. So maybe it's just risky. Is this Alva keeping her cool, trying to remember the step by
I think it's
steps?
this is perhaps like as well. We have the maybe we see this the time as well when Sydney opened the book on these pages and it clicked with Moira of like, yes, I could do this, and this is she showed it to Alva's trying to remember the diagrams from the book of the steps to take and the runes to activate and the sequence to do it in.
Okay, cool. So yeah, roll 3 dice and add your code, and let's see how it goes.
Oops, almost rolled 5. That would have been interesting. Okay, so I rolled a 5 and a 4, so that makes 10.
Cool. Yeah. So that is all good. No complications. So yeah, what does it feel like when you enact this magic and the demon is trapped, or sent back to hell or whatever?
I'd be interested to hear what it feels like for Moira as well. But for Alva, it's a case of the amulet in her hand starts to almost get like burning hot, and she needs to just like not let go of it from the heat of holding it in her hand, as the demon is sucked from Moira into the amulet.
Yeah. How about Moira? What do you feel when it's trapped and repelled back to hell?
Yeah, I think that there was like a moment of panic when the heat rose in her body and when she felt like the triumphant laughter of the demon. But then she also feels Alva's touches and, on the exact right spots. And then she's able to telepathically tell the demon, "Go to hell, fiend."
Okay, cool. So yeah, anyone, I guess that's problem solved. Mystery / demon wrapped. Anyone want to add anything more in the scene before we do a quick wrap?
Oh, I mean, that FedEx guy is definitely waiting to sign for the amulet. Take it away, right?
That's perfect.
As we like pull ourselves out of this quagmire of thing and this husk burning and the sun, like begins to rise on the correct side of the horizon, right? And then
it's just midnight again, as it should be.
Yeah, it sets properly, right? Like, it doesn't go. And then Sydney's looking at the wreck of his car, and then just this FedEx van just like slowly put us to a halt next to us, and then this guy with his socks and sandals gets out and sign here, please.
So yeah, I gotta imagine there's like a big bag, like a Ziploc bag or something, or just another bubble wrap bag, whatever, that you just drop the amulet into, and then he seals, and then you sign there, right? So something very.
He tosses it into the back over his shoulder into the back of the truck, and as he like whistles and drives off.
There's all sorts of magical artifacts in the back of the truck already.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like hundreds of other envelopes similarly signed off, right?
Yeah. Oh, and as he drives away, of course, you got "Please allow me to introduce myself" playing on the radio, right? Like,
yeah. staring out the window as he takes a left turn. You know, because obviously the devil's postman can take a left turn. Cool. And I think maybe I'll add one more thing to this scene before we kind of have some epilogue. I think Stone, you kind of feel that glyph on your chest flare up one last time, you know, after he leaves, and I think you get a sense of Eve, you know, slinking off into the darkness, still thinking of you.
I think it's even as the reflection in the you know, in the back of the wrecked Toyota, right? Just catches his eye in the wing mirror, and Eve is looking back instead of his own reflection.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, we do a quick. I don't know. We can do this like in a group, maybe, and then a quick epilogue after that for people individually, like, you know, a week ahead of time, a month, whatever, however far you want to go. So yeah, let's maybe start with Stone.
I think for Stone, it is just being stitched up by Moira, who's fussing over like his, you know, the many like rips and tears in his flesh, and you know, it's very like workmanlike. And you know, just his eyes come to rest on the counter behind, and there is that dagger that was used to kill him way back when. Just sits resting on the table, right? That Moira now has in her possession. His eyes lock on it, and it's like, and he asks, "When can I rest?"
And I think that is the exact last scene for Moira, and she looks at him and she says, "Never, dear."
Never dare. She pulls the thread tight, right? Like,
Yeah.
and snips it off, pats me on the shoulder, and then walks off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Harsh. How about Sydney?
Are we immediately after the fight?
As you like it, yeah. So
Okay.
if you want to do like a minute after that, or
I think as first of all, we see Sydney at a used car lot trying to replace the ruined truck, and then maybe we see him at a travel bureau where he's thinking of some vacation options, because he really feels he needs to get Alva away from this for at least a little while, because she definitely needs some rest. Also, maybe Alva has been acting a little strangely lately after this whole demon business with the runes on her body and all that. Maybe he feels like she's close to crossing some threshold that he doesn't appreciate. So he tries to do all he can. He can't do much, but he can maybe try to get her to relax a little.
Cool. How about Alva? Or how does she react to that, if you want to add that too?
I think we'll see if, but I think perhaps that the FedEx delivery man returns one more time to give us the beer from Lucian, and she takes, or at least requests Sydney to come with her on the bike, and they share some beers with the sun going down, and
Okay.
perhaps that's when it comes up about Sydney's concerns.
Yeah.
I was thinking of having a temp bartender at your local, you know, give you a pint for on the tab or whatever. Probably the same delivery guy.
Yeah, exactly.
Again. But that you know, having a 4-pack or whatever of cans fits also, you know. get rid of your, pay up on your promises ASAP. Is
Yeah, exactly.
the devil's modus operandi. Cool. Okay. Anyone else want to add anything before we wrap?
No.
Okay. Cool. So I will stop recording and we'll do a debrief.